Buried inside newly released FBI files was this unexplained case from 1947. The following story is based on documented witness statements contained within FBI case file 62HQ83894, a collection of investigative records involving unidentified flying objects and flying disc reports documented between 1947 and 1968. The case file was publicly released on May 8, 2026. Portions of this presentation include artistic recreations based on the original testimony and investigative records. Because the case remains unsolved, some visuals may not precisely reflect the actual events as they occurred. What you are about to hear is one of several unexplained reports contained within the file. In the summer of 1947, America became obsessed with strange objects in the sky. Newspapers across the country began reporting sightings of what people called flying saucers. Most dismissed the stories as imagination, until reports started coming from ordinary people with no explanation for what they had seen. Then, on the evening of August 3, 1947, something strange was reported in Hackensack, New Jersey. According to witness statements later documented in an FBI letter dated August 13th, two men stood outside near Simons Avenue just after 8 p.m. One of them was Private William Truex, a young soldier stationed at Fort Dix. Standing beside him was Charles Casella, his sister's fiancé. The two men were looking toward a nearby radio antenna when they noticed something moving through the sky. At first, Truex believed it was just a child's balloon, but something about it immediately felt wrong. There was no wind, no strings, and no visible way for the object to stay in the air. The object moved silently, traveling north in a steady straight path approximately 200 yards above the ground. They later described it as oval-shaped, rounded at the top and pointed at the bottom, almost like a large spinning toy top. And then came the statement that captured the mood of 1947 perfectly. Charles Casella reportedly looked at the object and said, "Maybe it's a flying saucer." The object remained visible for only seconds, but the sighting was far from over. Inside a nearby home, a young woman named Joyce McFarland was called outside to look at the strange object moving across the evening sky. She later described it as silver blue in color, round in shape, and revolving as it moved. She watched it until it disappeared beyond the horizon. According to her statement, she had never seen anything like it before. What makes this case interesting is not just the object itself, but the way it was documented. Investigators interviewed witnesses individually, and addresses were recorded. Statements were compared. Even neighbors were questioned. One nearby witness claimed she saw nothing unusual at all. And yet, despite the conflicting testimony, the story was formally written into an FBI report during one of the most mysterious summers in modern history. No conclusions were given. No explanation was provided. Just a strange object, silently crossing the sky over New Jersey in the summer of 1947. And nearly 80 years later, the files were released to the public and people are still asking the same question. What exactly did they see? And this was just one of many reports contained within the newly released files. Over the coming weeks, I'll be creating more mini documentaries like this one, breaking down these cases visually so you don't have to sort through hundreds of pages yourself. Subscribe and follow the channel to stay up to date as we continue uncovering these mysterious cases, one file at a time.